Flip. Her disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out of touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated, not non-college educated, the uneducated, which is what you are in Sunny Hostin's view.
Charlie Kirk completely tears into Sunny Hostin from The View during his appearance on Megyn Kelly's show. Sunny insulted Trump voters, calling them dumb and uneducated, but Charlie didn't hold back. With Megyn Kelly backing him up, he absolutely dismantles her argument. Let's see what he had to say.
Including you, Charlie Kirk, because she's conflating, right, people who didn't go to college with people who are uneducated. We've got to look at the clip, and then I need your reaction.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president. Right. So why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
Okay. It's amazing. She's specifically there referring to the women, but of course it's the non-college educated men as well who voted for Donald Trump. And the nerve of this woman to whom the country has given so much to try to dump on people who didn't go to college. Look at you. Look at your achievements. How do you like the so-called uneducated now, Sonny?
Yeah, and again, by the way, rarely do you get the answer to a question in the question. And her whole question is exactly why there was a rebellion against them.
Yes.
Listen, just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. I always differentiate between knowledge and wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever they teach. I mean, it's or about North African lesbian poetry. Okay, that's fine, I guess.
Awesome.
But I said this to our team. I said working people, the muscular class, including working women in the sense of, waitresses and women that work for Amazon. And there's a lot of women delivery drivers. They are so in favor of Trump, and they don't want to be called stupid or uneducated. And I've said this for so long, and it finally manifested, which is that it is laced into how we do our public opinion polling. And she played into it perfectly, because I've said this for a decade, and finally I have a piece of evidence to show this more than anything else, that we look at how we elect our leaders in two buckets: stupid and smart. And the stupid people are the people that don't have a certificate from Yale, and the smart people are $200,000 in debt because they went to Drake. And so the breakdown, though, is that Donald Trump, which, by the way, is just smart politics, because there's more people that didn't go to college than did go to college. And I know that's really hard for the Democrats to realize, because everyone in their circle went to college, but the majority of the country actually does not have a 4-year college diploma. The majority of the country are people that have 2-year technical degrees or community college, or they just went into the workforce right out of high school. And so Donald Trump gave these people a voice because they're tired of being told that they're stupid just because they didn't go into debt to go study something that doesn't matter, to find jobs that don't exist. And these people, by the way, Megyn, both men and women, we call them, as I said, the muscular class. They are the ones that kept the economy alive to great personal risk for themselves and their family during COVID. They're the ones that delivered you your Uber Eats for 3 months on straight, while you in the laptop class were able to keep on doing your job by opening your laptop in the comfort of your home while the Amazon trucks were still delivered and the supply chain went uninterrupted. Those people have felt belittled. They have felt talked down to. And Donald Trump communicated with them better than any candidate since Ronald Reagan in 1988. And the final point I'll say is this, is Sonny, do you guys thought that abortion was going to be this like quasi-zealot religious issue? I'm pro-life. If people in the audience aren't, that's fine. What I'm saying, though, what gives me promise and I think we can all agree on this, is that there are other issues that should animate and drive our politics other than this very divisive one. And I was really encouraged by that, Megyn.
The smear campaign was really all they had. They latched onto it because they had nothing else, even though overturning Roe v. Wade didn't change much. It just sent the issue back to the states. Even if Kamala Harris had been elected president, there wouldn't have been much she could do unless she signed some executive order. The media ran with propaganda videos and articles, many based on stories from years ago, conveniently resurfacing just before the election. It's so transparent. And what's up with Sunny Hostin? She looks completely stressed out, like she's aged 20 years since Trump got reelected. Why is she so worked up? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's keep it going.
Because the media was forcing this as an up or down vote on a referendum on a highly complicated, very emotional, very personal issue. And it turned out the American people were like, yeah, actually, these other 6 things matter more. And good for them.
By the way, Sunny Hostin, I think, went to Notre Dame. Her son's at Harvard. Her daughter's at Cornell. She's married to the Ivy League. And that's why she looks down on everyone else as a bunch of stupid losers who didn't vote the right way because they're not as smart as she is. I spent many years across from Sunny Hostin on the set of Bill O'Reilly. She is not as smart as she thinks she is. In fact, I defy you to show me one debate we ever had that she won. There isn't one. So I'm not done with the Charlie Kirk homage.
Oh, boy.
We put together a little bit of you on your college tour just so the audience can see some of the hard work you were doing. Let's play shot 1.
Can you tell me her greatest accomplishment?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me a single accomplishment?
I cannot. I want to leave.
What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Long pause.
Could you please explain why under a Trump presidency would be more beneficial to me than a Harris presidency?
I want to try to win you over as a liberal for Donald Trump.
Why should I vote for Trump?
There's no guesswork in this election. We know the type of president that Trump was and that he will be.
There are 3 things I want you to think about when voting for Trump. Home ownership, border, war. 3 objective things.
When I decide, just in case, can I have a hat?
You can have a hat.
So which way are you leaning?
Can I get a hat?
That's a good answer.
How are you leaning this election?
Well, after what you said, Trump.
Let's go!
All right, and 2 points on that, Charlie. So we had a bunch of kids from my son's high school here with me in studio on election night, and maybe like 15 of them, and they were all Trump supporters. Where there was no screening, like we're only taking the Trump supporters, but it just happened to be how it worked out. And that third point, war, was a big one for all of them. They're actually really worried about this neocon strain in the Democrat Party because they're the ones who are going to have to go fight it. And so you were tapping into exactly the right thing. And then one other cute point. My kids are in school all day and therefore do not listen to my show every day. They listen to it here and there, and they get clips on social media. And we were talking this week about who I had coming on today, and I told him, Charlie Kirk. And my son and my daughter, she's 13, he's 15, go, you know Charlie Kirk? I'm like, yes, I know Charlie Kirk. Yes. Oh, could we meet Charlie Kirk? I'm like, I think I could arrange it at some point. But that's how young, you're like a 13-year-old girl. She's seen your clips. She's been influenced by you. They watched you on that show. Where do they surround you and you debate all the people? Jubilee. They watched you there.
That was something.
I mean, you're making a huge difference, not just in today's voters, but in the next up-and-coming ones who are going to be voting 4 years from now, Charlie. It's huge. I do feel there's something divine going on. You were chosen for some reason.
Well, I'm humbled, and I said this. Well, thank you, Megyn, and I'd love to meet your kids. And I said this on election night. God gave us grace as a nation. I'm humbled by it. I say praise God. I'm just a small part, and He used what we were doing. I mean this. I had zero expectation that what we were going to do was actually going to move the dial this much. We did it out of obedience. We did it out of, hey, let's play the role. You know what it's like on a campaign, right, Megyn? Oh, if we can move, a couple hundred people and do your part, and it all adds up. I had no idea that this thing was going to set off the way it did. And I mean, we look at these youth vote numbers. It's not normal. It's the best performance by a Republican since 1988. And allow me to say one other thing about the youth vote that I think you'll really appreciate, Megyn, which is the Democrats underestimated how much pent-up rebellion energy was there because of how they were treated and lied to during COVID and the political correct regime that coupled with COVID. So they lost proms, graduations, they had to wear masks, they were on Zoom class, and then during it, they were propagandized with the most ferocious, aggressive, misleading left-wing propaganda on race, on sexuality, on gender, on America that we've ever seen. And so now, 4 years later, this Gen Z was like, you know what? You guys in charge, the same people that were trying to lock up Trump, you guys materially messed up my life, and I don't like you. And I think the Democrats misread the vibe. For all about, they're about the vibe. They misread it. And we happened to read the room. We saw it. And again, these kids were disproportionately punished for doing nothing wrong during COVID for extended periods of time. And the Democrats just shrugged their shoulders. Oh, kids will get over it. Think about it, Megyn. You remember probably years 13 through 17 more than years 23 through 27. Those are your formative years. And they were robbed by these kids, from these kids. And so we played into that in the best possible way. And Donald Trump became this ascendant symbol of we're going to take back the country so that you can have a better future. And as I said at almost every campus stop, you guys represent the first generation since George Washington to have it worse off than your parents. It is a breakdown of the social contract. You are the most depressed, anxious, suicidal, drug addicted, psychiatric drug addicted, alcohol addicted generation in history. You guys deserve better. We do politics basically for one reason, to leave a better future for our kids. I mean, all the other stuff is fine, but that's really why we do this, right? So that you can keep this beautiful experiment going. And we failed in that. And this next generation had a say to try to make sure that they could also have access to the American dream like their parents. And they spoke decisively. And every Democrat right now is scratching their head, going through precinct by precinct, wondering why their safe spots of college campuses like Dane County, Wisconsin, like Center County, Pennsylvania, like Arizona State, like University of Arizona in Tucson, why they moved 20 to 25 points.
Charlie Kirk nailed it. No question. Honestly, I didn't pay much attention to him until I started covering his content on my channel. But I've got to admit, I'm becoming a fan. He's been doing some impressive work, especially leading up to the election. It takes serious patience to deal with these young people who've been indoctrinated through school, especially in colleges. Reversing that kind of heavy influence isn't easy, but Charlie has been pushing back and helping shift the narrative. He's definitely moving the needle in the right direction. Big kudos to Charlie for his efforts. If you want to see more of him breaking through to the younger generation, I've got a playlist ready for you in the corner. Go check it out.